The statistic that Asian Americans have a mean SAT score that is 63 higher than their white peers shows that they are exceeding others when it comes to academics. Yet they are not getting the recognition that they should from a school like Harvard. This shows that there has to be some type of racial profiling at the school, and that goes against these Asian American students that are excelling in school. This could even be happening to a race that applies to go to Miami University. Now that I've given you an example of being judged on race, I'll give you the opposite side on that idea of being judged on merit. Students should not be judged on only one aspect when they're applying to colleges. Whether or not the judging is primarily focused on race or merit, there will be students left out and judged harder on one thing than the other. There should be a more equal system where merit or race is not the only aspect being judged. An example I told earlier, it showed that Harvard was more heavily judging on race and in a wrongful way. While in a poll taken on Gallup.com that asked should applicants be based on solely merit or should race be taken into account, the majority voted that applicants should be based solely on merit. The categories of responders were based on political party and education. This should not be right either, because if colleges did this, then there may be a lack of a minority at the school when really every minority should be represented. After introducing you to these three reasons that there should be a racial quota, I'll tell you what could happen if it goes into effect or if it doesn't. A racial quota is something that needs to happen. From the facts that I presented above, it shows that students are being judged and therefore schools are lacking in diversity. If there was an applied racial quota, then schools would be required to admit a certain amount of students from each race, but they would be allowed to keep their scores that they need to be qualified to be accepted into the school. If this racial quota does not go into effect, then we will see a lack of diversity at colleges all around the nation. It may be on the negative end of the judgment ourselves if we apply to graduate school, or it could have already been on this side when applying to grad school, or to regular school, excuse me. To conclude, I'll leave you guys with a quick summary and tell you what you can do to help. Colleges are seen as not having enough diversity, and we can see this with the table that I showed to you earlier in the speech. That was a table of ratings for each national college based on their diversity. Minorities are being wrongfully judged based on race when they are applying to colleges, even if they meet the school's requirements to be accepted. There cannot be just one aspect that gets judged when students are applying, even if based on merit or just race. There must be a racial quota that requires colleges to accept a specific amount of minorities. And even with this quota, college can still uphold their score requirements needed to be accepted. This racial quota by itself would allow for a more diverse college campus. You guys can be a part of getting this incorporated by speaking out about the lack of diversity around your school and even telling your story if you happen to feel wrongfully judged when applying to colleges. If you do not speak up and spread the word on the racial quota and your beliefs on it, then there may never be anything done about it. Go meet others that may be another race and start a conversation with them about it.